Boom. All right. So let's jump in. So I wanted to do this because I think constipation itself is a big thing. I feel like people are afraid to talk about it too. So um, here I am. I
We're
can
here to
talk
talk
about
about it.
yeah, talk about all this shit. Um, but it goes much deeper than that. So originally I wanted to just do a presentation on fiber and constipation because constipation is the effect that most people feel. But the issue is normally fiber. And so I kind of wanted to do both kind of the cause and the effect. Most people will feel constipation, but the fix is typically fiber. And so a lot of times in the check ins and stuff, we'll tell you guys to like add fiber. And I know, I think it was like the a couple times ago on here we were talking about people were adding fiber or getting their fiber intake up because the goal was like 7 grams per meal, 5 to 7 grams per meal is like a minimum. In total, you want like 20 to 30 grams or so, or that's like a minimum. So a lot of people were getting fiber in, but they were getting it in weird sources, right? Like drinks or bars and all that kind of stuff. So I want to go over this and actually dive into what the hell fiber is, the differences, and I think this will make a lot of sense for you guys. And it's pretty interesting stuff. So let's just jump into the basics. So fiber is a carb, so protein, carbs, and fats, right? Those are the our calories. Fiber is just a type of carbohydrate. It just doesn't act like other carbohydrates. Um, Natural fiber is what we call fiber that you get from food. It sounds normal. It's natural. So it's indigestible carb that passes through the small intestines to the colon. So the colon, in other words, the large intestines, passes right through the small intestines and then it goes into the colon. Now there's two main types: soluble fiber and insoluble fiber. Okay, you probably heard of these, don't know which is which. I'll go over this and make this very, very clear because this is very important. This is once you understand the difference between soluble and insoluble, you'll understand why a lot of those protein bars and shakes and Benefiber and all that is just complete bullshit. And you'll see why they're not doing anything at all. Um, and it's pretty crazy. So, in short, they support digestion, satiety, which is fullness, gut health, and metabolic function. So, we're going to dive into this a lot. So, the bars, the shakes, the snacks, they use what's called functional fiber. This is synthetic fiber. So they name it functional fiber because it's supposed to function like fiber. It's chemically designed to be fiber outside the body, but it's fake. Okay. This is synthetic fiber. So inulin and polydextrose and wheat dextrin are the biggest guys. If you look at any bar or Benefiber or fiber supplement or shake or whatever the hell that you have, that has a lot of fiber in it, I guarantee it's one of those. Either inulin or wheat dextrin is probably the main ones. They add that into stuff so that the fiber intake on the nutrition panel goes up. But what you're about to see is that it does absolutely nothing. So the downsides is minimal gut benefit, which I'll explain more so. It actually causes more gas and bloating, which I'll explain in a second. And it's only added to inflate the labor, the label count. Um, we're gonna get to why they don't work in a second, but the uh, takeaway is real fiber feeds the gut, and the label just feeds the marketing. That's pretty much it. These guys are just trying to get fiber on the label so it can look good, so everybody's like, "Oh, hey, I'm getting fiber in, cool." What you're about to see is it actually doesn't do much. But before we go there, so why does fiber actually matter? So first, it regulates blood sugar and insulin, reduces LDL cholesterol. So that's the bad cholesterol. It literally binds. So the fiber literally binds to cholesterol and expels it. Increases or decreases blood pressure or normalizes blood pressure, I should say. It supports satiety, which is fullness. Okay. So this is one of the reasons why all the foods that we give you guys and the meal plans and all that have a lot of fiber in them. It's also the foods that will be high in fiber are also the types of foods that you can eat a lot of for low calorie. So obviously, we all know that the huge point of eating low calorie sustainability of eating low calorie lies on being full, right? Eating a high volume of food is the best way to do that. We all understand that. But protein and fiber also play a part in that. It just so happens that the foods that you'll eat a lot of for low calorie also are typically high in fiber. So it supports satiety more than just about anything else can. It also has a big impact on cravings. So when people increase their overall fiber count um, to a large degree, it suppresses a lot of cravings. So if you have sugar cravings, salt cravings, all these types of things, that will dramatically go down. The reason for that is because cravings themselves are stemming from the gut and they're stemming from certain bacteria strains that are hungry. So if you have an overwhelming amount of bacteria strains that want salt, so to speak, you're going to crave salt. You're going to want more salt. Same thing with sugar. So if you're having all these kind of crazy cravings, it's probably because the guts that are the strongest, or the bacteria strains that are the strongest in your gut, are the ones you don't want, and they're craving all the foods that they want. It's kind of like gut. I always heard that the microbiome is kind of like a it's like walking into a classroom of kids that doesn't have a teacher, and everybody's just fucking screaming and going nuts. But there's like the ones that are like controlling the room that are also screaming, and going nuts, but have like the power. That's pretty much your microbiome. Everything's just a fucking shit show. But some bacteria strains have more power than others, and the ones that do are the ones you're gonna hear. So, in other words, if you have the proper bacteria strains in the right amount, then those cravings will go down, and fiber is going to help you do that, which I'll explain how in a second. There's also a cool little benefit. You actually can, if your fiber intake is high enough, you'll basically absorb 5% less calories than you actually eat. So it's kind of like a free 5% calories, which is kind of cool. It's something. We track every fucking calorie, so 5% helps. And the reason for that, by the way, is just 'cause you shit it out. So nothing too sciencey there. You just literally shit out extra 5%. Um, so that all of this combined will obviously lower obesity, heart disease, diabetes. What's even more cool though is that it reduces your all-cause mortality by up to 30%. So you're 30% less likely to die if your fiber intake is high enough. It's fucking insane. Um, this chart here I'll like include if you guys ever want to see this in the group when I post the video, but it just kind of breaks down how fiber breaks down or tries to be broken down. Mouth, stomach, small intestine, large intestine. The large intestine is where it goes to work, and this is where we get all the benefits, which I'll go over a little bit more. So, fiber and constipation. We have insoluble fiber and soluble fiber. Okay, I'm going to make this super clear. So, insoluble fiber bulks the stool and speeds up stool movement. Okay, so this is kind of like a snowball going down the hill where it just collects more snow and it goes faster. That's pretty much what insoluble fiber does. It bulks up your stool and it forces everything through faster. So that's called motility. That's the ability for you to literally use your muscle to shit the food out. Okay. That is different from the gut bacteria. So soluble fiber actually slows digestion. So it's actually the opposite. But it feeds the bacteria, which is called fermenting. And this prevents dysbiosis. I'm going to go over that again in a second because that's the really important part. Now, one thing that's really important here as well is that it needs water and movement to work. Fiber without water gets stuck. It does the opposite. It needs a lot of water to flow through the colon and the small intestines. So even if your fiber intake is high, but you're dehydrated, you're still going to be constipated. Okay. You need the water for the fiber. Also, if you take too much fiber too fast, it's actually going to do the opposite. It's going to cause bloating and constipation because you need to build up your ability to digest. Okay. This could be for several reasons. It could be because your gut is damaged, which I'll get to in a second, or it just could be because your gut is literally inexperienced, right? Think of it like a muscle that's weak, right? You can't just go in for like a really heavy weight all of a sudden. You need to gradually get to that. And your gut and fiber is the same. Gut, the fiber literally cannot be digested. And so it's taxing the gut in a good way, but it's still taxing the gut. And if you're not used to eating actual fiber, you need to slowly increase your fiber. You can't just go from like 10 to 40. All right. It's going to be way too much on your gut. So I recommend increasing by 10 grams of fiber per day per week, meaning that, like, if you look at your fiber intake right now and you're only eating 10 grams of fiber, then shoot for 20 grams of fiber per day for a full week. And then you can shoot for 30 if everything feels fine. Again, this should be from natural fiber or actual fiber, not synthetic fiber. So, food, actual food, not like nutrition label food, like bars and shakes and all that kind of stuff. Whole foods. All right, so now let me dive into this a little bit more. Okay, so again, soluble fiber. Okay, this is what you don't have to. It dissolves in water. That's what soluble technically means, but that's less of what we want to understand it. We want to understand it as feeding the bacteria. Okay, so this is the one that slows digestion. This is the food for the gut, essentially. Okay, soluble fiber is the food for the gut in the colon, which is the large intestine. It produces short chain fatty acids. Okay, this is the important part. It gets fermented. It's basically just chilling in the gut. It ferments. It turns into short chain fatty acids like butyrate, acetate, all these guys. These are the guys that then increase the bacteria strains that we need. Okay, like Bifidobacterium and all these crazy strains. If you guys have ever taken a probiotic or ever seen a probiotic, the strains that we want all stem from short chain fatty acids like butyrate and acetate. You can measure this all in your gut too to see exactly how much you have. This comes from the fermented fiber from the soluble fiber. This is what supports the colon health, lowers inflammation, improves insulin sensitivity. It does all the things that you're having a good gut microbiota will do. Okay, so I mean, there's a whole list of this that I didn't even get into. But if you don't have dysbiosis, which dysbiosis is like a disproportionate amount of bacteria, like you have the wrong bugs in there, basically, then it messes with your head, your brain. The valgus nerve connects your brain to your gut, your appetite, how full you are, how you digest food, going to the bathroom, obviously, but all these different things. Okay, but the important part here is that soluble fiber feeds the gut. Okay, and that's what gives you the bacteria strains that we want. Now, insoluble fiber, again, it's like that snowball going down the hill. This does not feed the gut. So these guys don't get stuck in the gut. They don't feed shit, but they get things to move. Okay. It adds bulk to the stool and it stimulates the contraction, the actual muscle. Okay. Which is obviously important. So the two combined, you feed the gut, you get the gut happy, and then this moves shit through the gut. Okay. So the soluble fiber feeds the gut, insoluble fiber gets things to move through the gut essentially. So you need both. So in other words, soluble fiber feeds your gut bugs and makes your colon happy. Insoluble fiber keeps things moving. It's like a broom to your intestines. Okay, so this is the easy way to understand both. Now, what's interesting is things like benefiber and the synthetic fibers that I was talking about. If you look at I know Linz was saying like the wraps, right? They have like 15 grams of fiber, right?
Yeah.
The protein bars or the whatever the fuck else out there is labeled as like healthy food. Um, those are all sources of synthetic fiber. The issue with those is they don't add bulk to the stool, so they won't add the ability to push through. And most importantly, they don't ferment. So they will not create short chain fatty acids like this. If it's not doing this, then it's not going to affect your gut at all. So those fiber supplements are literally doing nothing. Benefiber, the proteins, the fucking wheat wraps, all this shit aren't doing anything because they're not fermenting in the gut. They're not affecting your bacteria strains, and they're not helping move anything through your gut because they don't add bulk. Some of them, there's some that do add a little bit of motility to them, and there's other ones that ferment too fast and they cause more issues than they're worth. But in point, they don't, basically do anything. Um, Now, does anybody have questions, by the way, about soluble or insoluble fiber? 'Cause that is pretty important. I know it's confusing too. So, like, again, soluble fiber, it doesn't really matter if you know which is which. Just know that one of them is feeding your gut. It's feeding the right bugs, the right bacteria, and the other one's getting things to move through your gut. And you need both. If you're wondering where the hell do I get one from the other, don't worry. If you're eating fruits and vegetables like whole foods, you're getting both. It doesn't even the amounts don't even if you're having anywhere near a diverse amount of food, like a different vegetable than a fruit, you're fine. You're gonna get both. But the important thing is that you have to get them from food, actual food, like whole food. You cannot get them from anything with like a nutrition label. So that's fiber. Now, fiber is not the only thing that goes into constipation, right? So fiber is probably the most important, and obviously you need water in order for fiber to be useful. So other causes for constipation. So if you are actually eating enough fiber, right, and you're actually getting, let's say 30 grams, 20 grams, something like that, then you're good on fiber. But if you're still constipated, some other shit going on or not going on, I guess, or the shit going on in your system, but not, you know what I'm saying. So the number one is the low water intake. Okay. Fiber turns into bricks without water. So you're literally gonna be shitting bricks. Or not be shitting. So if you're getting enough fiber, but you're not getting enough water, it's literally turning it into a brick and it's not going to move. And that's fucking painful. So if you guys have ever like literally shit a brick where it actually hurts, that's you not drinking enough water. So you need to make sure you're also hydrating. You don't have to drink as much as you think. Like a lot of times, I think people actually overhydrate when they focus too much on water. If you're drinking for women like at least a half a gallon, you're probably fine. It's not a crazy amount. For men, upwards of a gallon. Again, it's not a crazy amount. If you're avoiding thirst, you're probably okay. Um, but if you go in the bathroom and it feels like you're literally shitting bricks, that's water. Okay, that has nothing to do with fiber. That's water intake. Stress. So again, the valgus nerve connects the brain to your gut, and so it slows digestion via the nervous system. So obviously, if you're stressed, that can play a part. It's that's kind of obvious, right? If you've ever been like a fight or flight situation or scared shitless. Ironically, you won't shit. It's the last thing your body's thinking of, right? So stress obviously will play a little bit of a part. Low movement. So, again, motility or the ability for you to get the shit through your body that relies heavily on the insoluble fiber, but also just movement itself. It's a muscle, right? So you can actually out train your gut. So sometimes, um, if you've ever tried to resist going to the bathroom, maybe I don't know, you were somewhere where you didn't want to go in the porta potty or something to take a shit, and you actually like constrained that, you can actually fuck up your muscle to the point where you can damage it, and you actually won't be able to go to the bathroom normally. It's actually kind of wild. So low movement means a movement of the gut and the colon. Exercise helps, but that's not what this means. Low magnesium. So if you've ever heard me say take magnesium before bed, this is why. So magnesium actually affects the muscle contraction of you actually pushing to go to the bathroom. Magnesium plays a part in the contraction of that muscle. It also shuttles water into your intestines. So that could play a part. So if you're drinking enough water and you're getting enough fiber, then taking magnesium before bed, like 500 milligrams, will help a lot. But that's probably not the issue. Um, all right. So, what else could cause constipation? Is to run through a couple of these things. Low water intake. Again, kind of talked about that. Stress, low movement. Okay. Again, your colon's a muscle. And so it needs magnesium to contract, which is why that plays a part. But it also needs to be a muscle. It needs to be used. And so sometimes there's actually weird research, but you can actually train your gut to go to the bathroom when you want it to, literally at the same time of day. It's really fucking crazy, but it's a muscle that learns essentially. So going to the bathroom and actually trying to go to the bathroom and use the muscle is important. Um, that's where poor bowel habits means if you're kind of resisting it or not using the muscle the way that you should. Then overuse of laxatives, so that reduces the strength of the muscle. So if you're relying on laxatives, even the natural laxatives or whatever, basically what you're doing is you're allowing. It's kind of like if I wanted my shoulders to get stronger, and every time I went to go like press a barbell, I had somebody behind me lift it for me. Like that's pretty much what you're doing when you take a laxative. And so you're never actually getting stronger. And if anything, you're getting weaker and there's atrophy there and it gets worse. So never try to use a laxative for an extended period of time. Obviously, if it's a one-off thing, fine. There's still something that's probably wrong, but yeah, never actually rely on it. And then FODMAP sensitivity is the one thing I won't get too far into, but essentially FODMAPs are a type of carbohydrate. It's found in a lot of different vegetables, and sometimes people have adverse effects to that, and their bodies can't digest that properly. So if you're doing everything right and your body's still getting bloated when you eat like good foods, then it's probably a FODMAP issue. Um, you can literally just Google FODMAP and you'll see what foods have FODMAPs in it. If that's the issue, just don't eat them, and you'll be all right. Pretty simple. Um, So fiber in the gut. Again, this is super important, right? So fiber is the prebiotic fuel for the gut micro. These are the bugs, basically the bacteria, right? The fermentation of the fiber is where those short chain fatty acids come from. That's what feeds the colon, lowers the inflammation. This is where the good stuff happens. Okay. Everything that you think of or you hear about the gut or fiber intake, whatever, it's usually coming from this. This is what we would measure if we did a gut test. We would be looking at short chain fatty acids like butyrate. Those are the things that then increase the bacteria strains that we want. And if you look at, Bifido is like the big one, but all these names are ridiculous. But if you look at any type of of these supplements, you'll see all these fibers. I mean, these bacteria strains in there. So the whole point that a high fiber diet is more diverse and resilient gut microbiome. Now we're looking at your immune system, cardiovascular disease, depression. I mean, all of these things stem from the health of your gut. The health of your gut is stemming from how you're fermenting these bacteria strains. That stems from fiber. Okay, so it's super, super important. So this goes well above and beyond just going to the bathroom. And the most important thing is to remember that these short chain fatty acids that are leading to all this benefit is not created by synthetic fibers. It's not going to work. So if you're supplementing with fiber, you're not getting any of the benefit. Um, I'll give you guys a whole list of high fiber foods. I have like fucking 100 of them, so I'll put that in the group. But these were the top 10, which is actually pretty fucking crazy. This is per 100 grams of food. But like a cabbage, for instance, has 10 grams of fiber for 100 grams of food. That's nuts. Spinach, Brussels sprouts are all super, super close. I mean, it's a lot. Even cauliflower is super high. So you can get a crazy amount of fiber. But again, 100 grams is a decent amount when you're talking cabbage, because cabbage is super light. So you have to eat a lot in order to get the fiber. Per calorie, you're getting a lot of fiber per calorie, but you also have to eat a lot of food to get it, which is why this is also the perfect thing to do when you're in a low calorie diet. Not only is it going to kill your cravings, it's going to keep you full, not only because of the fiber, but also because the amount you have to eat to get the fiber. So overall, it's going to keep you very, very, very full. Never mind, you're also going to be decreasing your overall calorie intake by like 5%, and it kills the cravings and it makes you full. So I mean, it's pretty much the golden ticket when you're trying to keep it sustainable. Um, and
Stacy asked if it was cooked or raw. Is there a difference? And Mark said you're ruining his night.
uh, you're welcome, Mark. So these honestly, this I'm pretty sure these were.
Probably raw, I would assume.
That's actually a good question. I'm not actually sure. Yeah, I don't know. I know if you guys are not used to fiber, so if your fiber intake is already low, I would not start with raw. Eat cooked fiber first, and
Yeah.
then you
I
add
think
it.
weigh it raw. I think all these measurements are from raw foods. So like weigh it all, but
Got it.
eat
Yes,
it
these are
cooked.
probably. I'll double check. That's a good question. I'm not really sure, but I do know raw, vegetables are going to be a lot harder for your body to deal with than cooked. So, if you're not super used to fiber, then yeah, don't do that. Not yet, anyway. I just saw Mark's thing. Those foods wreck my stomach. Yeah, so that's
That's the
probably
FODMAPs.
because either you have a FODMAP issue or your body is just not.
No, I have colitis.
Yeah. So that's an autoimmune type issue. Yeah. So you could FODMAPs will destroy you because of that too. I'll send you a whole list. Like I have a list of like 100 of them. Well, you know which ones would bother you or not? I guess, right? You probably know.
Mostly green vegetables like broccoli, Brussels sprouts. If I can eat some of it, but I can't eat a lot.
Got it. Yeah, and you wouldn't be able to get the amount of fiber if you weren't eating a lot. Got it. Yeah, I'll send you like a huge. I'll put it in the groups. I have a list of like 100 of them that are really high in fiber. So there's got to be. Hopefully, there's a few out there that like.
Something out of the 100.
Yeah. Oh man. Um, so one thing that's really cool about this too is that fiber is what binds to toxins, bile, cholesterol. If you actually have toxins in your body, it's fiber that actually latches onto them and pushes them out of your body. That's the actual detox. Like if you're actually looking to detox your body, fiber is the way to detox. That's our body's way of detoxing. This whole juice cleanse and like detox supplements, it's all bullshit. None of it does anything. This does. So if you want to actually detox your body, it's the short chain fatty acids from the fiber that's going to actually pull that out of your body. That's what's taking and binding all of this stuff. And again, that's the fermentation that happens in the colon that happens from the soluble fiber before that. The unsoluble fiber is what's pushing it all through. So obviously you need both, but that fermentation of short chain fatty acid, this is where you're getting all that benefit. Um, so juice cleanses, all that stuff, not going to work. So high fiber diet will work. Now it's recommended is like 25 to 35 ish. That's like a minimum. So that's a actually so the 25 is typically for women, 35 is typically for men. That's supposed to be the bare minimum for sedentary people. So people who don't move or work out at all, that's supposed to be the bare minimum. So if you're strength trainees and you're working out, it's supposed to be a lot higher. The it's supposed to be like double that. They have like um some data from like hunter gatherer tribes that were eating on average like 80 to 100. Some of them eating like over 150 per day naturally. Absolutely crazy. Um, so in other words, our fiber intakes are really fucking low compared to what they should be. Um, which is pretty nuts. Although
Do you
one of
think
my
our bodies have like adjusted over time for that to like be
yeah,
normal?
so that it's just our diets have just less fiber in them, but this is where all the fucking like Mark was saying, colitis, the Hashimoto's is huge now. All of these gut issues are stemming from this. It's stemming from our guts just not getting the right bacteria strains, not being balanced. We're passing that down when you when the child passes through the birth canal, they take your gut microbiota and that becomes their immune system. So whatever shitty immune system you had, you just gave them, and then they're eating shitty food on top of that. Now everybody just has shitty immune systems. So
That
this is how you fix it.
explains a lot in my life.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Anybody who's like um, a C-section baby never got their parents' immune system, and so their immune system is actually from the environment, which is crazy because they were doing some weird experiments. Sound really weird, but they were trying to basically take like C-section babies and feed them shit pretty much, but like good quality shit, I guess you would say, and expose them to shit. But because that's how you actually develop your immune system, and so they were actually giving them like perfect immune systems from it. It's weird, but it kind of makes sense. But anyway, yeah. So a lot of us are just screwed up from our parents, but we're not helping by not eating. That goes with everything, I guess. We're all screwed up.
I was gonna say it's not the only reason.
That's all our parents' fault. All right. So that all being said, hopefully you guys understand how important fiber is, how much we should be getting, what it does, all that good stuff. Now, why doesn't fiber always work? And I mean good fiber. Obviously, you guys understand by now why the synthetic fiber doesn't work. It just doesn't. It doesn't do what it's supposed to do. But good fiber doesn't always work yet either. And there's a couple reasons for that. So too much too soon, it can cause gas, bloating, constipation, which is exactly what we're trying to reverse, essentially. Um, but we need to slowly get into it again. Think of your gut like a muscle. If it's not used to eating this type of fiber or enough of it or how much of it that we want to eat, then we have to slowly let it eat that and build up to it. Okay. You wouldn't just go into the gym and try to deadlift 500 pounds. You want to go into it and slowly begin to keep increasing your weight over time. Right. Same thing with fiber. So, what I would do this week for all of you guys, if you're not already, is just count your fiber. Don't change anything because you don't want to purposely try to go 0 to 100. Don't try to get 30 grams of fiber tomorrow. Just see what your fiber normally is. And that's it. No judgment. Doesn't matter if it's -5 or just 3, whatever. Most people aren't eating a lot. But then the goal would be to add about 5 to 10 grams per day for a week, and then add another 5 to 10 grams for the following week. Ideally, getting to first at least 25 to 35. Every week you don't have a problem, add. Okay, this is basically what you want to do, and make sure again this is real food. So, any fruit and vegetable has fiber. So it's just getting it from actual food. Unfortunately, there's no getting around fruits and vegetables. And then you keep adding it up until you can get as high as you can. Basically, if you can get your fiber up to like 70, 80 grams a day, you're probably going to be just very hard to kill. So now, what happens if you're eating this fiber and you do have issues? You have constipation, bloating, gas, all this stuff from actually eating the fiber, and you're not even eating that much of it. Well, this could be an underlying issue. So a lot of these autoimmune diseases like Hashimoto's, leaky gut or gut inflammation, or SIBO, which is super popular right now. All of these guys can be issues which are basically not allowing your gut to break down the fiber. And so fiber is making the gut worse. Okay, so these are possibilities. SIBO is probably the most common, that and Hashimoto's. So SIBO, just so you guys know, well, I'll explain Hashimoto's first. Hashimoto's, if you guys aren't familiar with it, you have this if you look at your thyroid antibodies. Essentially, your gut is kind of like a like a fishing net where it has like some holes in it, but they shouldn't be big enough for big things to go through, only little things to go through. Basically, if you inflame your gut so much by eating the wrong stuff, hard to digest stuff, you don't have the good bacteria strains to break things down, then the lining of your gut has a tear. So imagine that net. Now imagine ripping that net, and now you have a huge hole in the net, right? And now you have undigested food particles that float through that hole. Your body sees that as an invader and attacks itself. That's the start of the autoimmunity. The first thing that usually gets hit in the crossfire is your thyroid. And that's why people who have Hashimoto's have thyroid issues and blah, blah, blah. But it's all stemming from your gut. SIBO is kind of similar. SIBO is the good bacteria, but in the wrong place. So it basically starts to crawl up. Sounds really creepy, but it's actually really accurate with depiction. But the bacteria that should live in the large intestine migrates up to the small intestines. So basically, it's the good stuff, it's the good guys, the good bugs, but they're in the wrong place and they're causing a whole bunch of issues. That could be caused by low stomach acid. Things like food poisoning will do that. Poor gut motility. Again, if you don't have the insoluble fiber, you don't have the big snowball down the mountain, you're not going to push everything through, right? And so some guys can start crawling up. You want to push those through. So motility has an issue here. And then this is kind of interesting too, but scar tissue or slowed movement from abdominal surgeries and things like that, or even constipation over time can all play a little bit of a part. So if you have any of these issues, Hashimoto, SIBO, whatever, it's fairly simple to fix. It's just not fun at all. You call it the 4R method. So first you remove. If you think about Hashimoto's, like I just said, the tearing of the lining, right? The first thing that you want to do, SIBO, it's also an issue. Everything is inflamed. The guts are kind of crawling up. The bugs are crawling up. The first thing you want to do is remove the foods that are causing a lot of the inflammation. Gluten and dairy are number one. Gluten and dairy, I've seen a research article. I can't remember what the hell it was, but I always remember the fact because it was just insane. Or essentially a bite of gluten. So think about like just a piece of cake, like a bite of cake, not like a whole piece, like literally a spoonful of cake, elevated thyroid antibodies for almost a year, meaning that your thyroid was still under attack from the gluten that you ate a year ago, and it was only a bite. That's how fucking crazy this is. So if you have like Hashimoto's or something, your intestines are really messed up, then eating dairy and gluten is like a nuclear bomb to your gut. It's just destroying it. So yeah, don't do it. By the way, if you have dairy, there's the older cheeses. So you think like really aged Parmesan cheese, for instance, it basically has no dairy in it. Not dairy. What can I think of? Something like
Yeah.
My
I
brain
think
is
Parmesan might actually be the only one that is fully
lactose. There we go. Doesn't have any.
lactose free. Yeah.
So the aged guys, that's why like Greek yogurt too is very aged. It has a lot of bacteria in there that eats away the lactose. So there's dairy that's better for you and worse for you in terms of lactose content. If you look at young cheeses or like soft cheese like mozzarella, I think that's young, but yeah, very soft cheese like that has a lot of lactose. So like pizza is like the worst thing in the earth for somebody who has Hashimoto. It's a bunch of
Gluten
gluten.
and young cheese.
Yeah, it's just bad. But I get it. It's hard to resist these things. But if you really want to fix the gut, and these are the issues that you have SIBO, you have autoimmunity, you have Hashimoto's, then these are the things that are causing it. You got to get rid of those first because you can't put out the fire if you just keep starting new ones, right? So like this is remove this stuff first. The second thing is you want to repair it. All right. So there's certain things that actually can be proactive in repairing that lining, so to speak. Glutamine helps a lot. It pretty much is like paving the road, so to speak. If you have potholes, glutamine kind of paves them, right? So it's like if you have holes in that gut lining, glutamine can fix it. Again, if you're trying to fix the gut and you're still eating gluten and dairy and stuff, it's just going to blow a hole right through it again. So that's why it's really important to remove stuff first. Then you repair it. Zinc can help a lot. Stomach acid, glutamine helps repair the lining. Bone broth helps a ton with your gut health. And obviously, stress can make things worse. So actually, not being as stressed can help. Then re-inoculate. So now you want to actually add in fiber. Okay, so this is what your body actually needs. It just wasn't in a position to be able to deal with it, right? So now you want to actually bring in the fiber the same way I was saying before, 5 or 10 grams per day, and then increase so long as your body can handle it. And then rebalance movement, sleep, simplicity, just basically being normal again. This should work pretty well. I mean, even for people with the most severe Hashimoto issues, this helps dramatically. It's just most people don't ever actually remove the foods, so they don't actually see improvement. But it's really important. So a little timeline. If again these are your issues and you want to go about healing the gut, um, first 2 weeks, eliminate the shitty foods, and then you can start having the gut support. So magnesium, glutamine, things like that can help. Then the next couple weeks, slowly add real food, real fiber. Again, 5 to 10 grams per week. That's per day, and then increase weekly by another 5 to 10 grams. And then weeks 5, that's where we can add prebiotics, expand the food variety. Now you can bump up that fiber intake, and then boom, after 5 weeks or so, you should actually be in a lot better of a position. So if you are somebody who tries after seeing this to increase your fiber intake and you're eating real foods and you're trying to bump up only like 5 or 10 grams of fiber, you're getting enough water, and still your gut is a mess, then it's probably because of SIBO, Hashimoto's, or something else. And if that's the issue, then this is what you want to do. Um, you want to be doing this, the 4 R's, but do it in a timeline like this, basically 5 weeks or so. Okay. If most of you guys will not have to worry about this or do this, if you guys can just add 5 or 10 grams of fiber, you add it in the water, you have no constipation, everything's great, you're good. You just needed to add fiber. Again, if you go too much too quick, that's not necessarily SIBO or Hashimoto's or anything. That's just going too quick. So again, 5 to 10 grams or so per day is where you want to go. A lot of you guys may not know how much fiber you're eating. That's fine. Just like I said, it's kind of like steps. If we ever told you, start tracking your steps, the first week you just tracked what you did normally, right? You didn't try to like purposely hit a number. Same thing with fiber. Like just track your fiber and see what's normal for you. And then we can tell you what to do. But it's just going to be simply adding 5 or 10 grams. But again, if you're eating, you can't count fiber from wraps, bars, shakes, Benefiber, whatever, because that fiber doesn't do anything. It's literally useless. Like it's not helping your gut. It's not doing anything. So you can't count that, which I know is difficult because like if you guys are adding up your fiber count in MyFitnessPal or something, like you'll have something like that. It jumps up by like 20. It's like, yay. But it counts as 0. So make sure you're only actually counting the fiber that's coming from food. Like actual food that does not have a nutrition label. Okay. Anything that does not have a nutrition label is good. then you'll actually have fiber, if that makes sense. Fruits, vegetables, that's pretty much it. So it's an example, what the hell that even looks like. You have yogurt in the mornings, boom, 0% yogurt, right? Everybody's favorite. Bunch of berries, flaxseed you can add in on that. Good. And then you can have like a chicken bowl, like a sweet potato bowl, or a grain bowl with lentils, avocado, red peppers. Obviously, you have to watch the calories here, but just giving you an idea. For a snack, I always like just grabbing a piece of fruit, like an apple. Boom. Like if you have nuts or something like that, they actually do help a lot. But again, you have to be careful with the calories. So like just apple and like a cheese stick or something if you really want a snack that has some sort of fiber to it. And then dinner, just protein, vegetables, weird, and you'll be good. So like just you want to make sure what you should be looking at is that every meal has a bunch of vegetables or fruits to it. If you're having things that are on the go, like yogurt, cottage cheese, whatever, then just grab fruit. Add a bunch of berries to it, or add an apple and orange to it. If you're eating something on the go, just add something like that. The meals that you're actually sitting down to eat, like this is where you're actually cooking, that's where you want the vegetables, right? Because you need a mix of both. So the easiest thing to do is just anything that's on the go, or you're even like yogurt, uh, cottage cheese, things like that. Berries are the easiest. They're usually strawberries in particular are the lowest calorie, highest fiber ones. But at normal sized fruits are good too. Like apples, oranges are pretty decent. And then if you're eating actual meals and you're cooking, then you can unload on the vegetables. I mean, chilies and potatoes are really good. Like just any vegetable is going to give you the fiber. You just need to make sure you're eating enough of them to actually get enough fiber. And that's why counting the fiber is actually important, because I see a lot of people who will send me their food logs and like, yeah, they have vegetables on it. But it's not enough to mean anything. It's kind of like what companies do with multivitamins, where they'll add every vitamin in the nutrition label just enough so it's actually on the label. But like the amount of vitamin D you needed was like 10,000 IUs, and they gave you 200, but nobody actually knows that. So it looks like you're getting vitamin D, but you're not getting anything. It's the same thing with fiber. A lot of times people like adding vegetables to their meal, and it feels like, hey, I'm eating vegetables, but you're not getting nearly enough fiber from those vegetables because you're not eating enough volume of them. So don't count the shitty fiber, and try to get to, well, see what your normal fiber is first and then increase it. But the goal is 20 to 30 minimum per day, minimum. Like for all of us, it should be like probably like 30 to 60, I would say, minimum, which is probably we're probably nowhere near that. So if people have like constipation issues and your fiber is only like 10 grams per day of actual fiber, then it's clearly not, an issue. It's just fiber. Like you're just missing the mark. Your body's not getting the short chain fatty acids, the bacteria strains all messed up. The motility is not there. Even if you had substance to push out, you couldn't. Then the muscle starts to get weak. It all makes sense. So like, if you guys are having those issues, then it's just simply getting the soluble fiber, getting the insoluble fiber, feed the gut, push it through the gut, and you'll be good. Just make sure you have water there, because again, if you don't have water, it's not going to work. It turns to brick. You'll be shitting bricks. I wonder if that's where the expression came from. It's amazing. So what I would say is fiber, water, add magnesium, and you should be good. I think most people will be solved with just that. I think most people just don't realize how little fiber they're actually eating, and the type of fiber that actually matters. Again, you can't count the other stuff. And when you take that stuff out, most people are not eating enough fiber. So that's pretty much will fix everybody. If for some reason that doesn't fix you, then it's probably because you have some sort of issue, leaky gut, SIBO, or whatever. And this is probably what you're going to have to do. Cool. All right. So that is it. What kind of questions we got? Now that I ruined everybody's night.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Where does psyllium husk fall in all of this?
It's still bullshit. Yeah.
Damn it.
Are you taking it? Yeah.
Every day for years.
It's really every day for years. Nice. There it is. Good
Oh,
shit. What does that say? Broom?
It's
Colon broom.
Nice.
But when I first started taking it, I felt like it actually did something, and it also makes you feel full.
Mm.
Yeah, I wonder if let me actually look at
I actually
what does
do
it say? Let's see.
Like I probably have it here somewhere.
It's 3.6 grams of psyllium seed husk powder. And then it's like, natural flavors, nothing else really. Citric
It's a
acid.
soluble fiber, but let me see exactly what it is. Let's see what we got here. I know it's actually that's the only one I ever heard recommended from people that I trust, but I still think it's bullshit. Let me see.
I mean,
I
the
feel like I'd be
ingredients, it's
like immune
100%.
to it.
I think if you take pure psyllium husk, then it's fine.
I have that here too, but it's
But I think when it's like mixed in with stuff, then it has
Yeah.
all those like added ingredients that aren't.
yeah, like this one's enjoyable, and then the pure one is like horrible.
Yeah. Like things like Metamucil has that in it, but with like a bunch of other shit in it too that like
Yeah.
isn't great for your gut.
How much do you take of that per day?
Say again.
How much do you take per day?
It's like a scoop, so it says it's 5.59 grams, one scoop.
Got it. And you only take one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, it's not terrible. Yeah, it says that the soluble fiber is actually pretty decent. So it's definitely the best out of the fake.
Best fake one out
But
there.
it's I think a lot of the benefit looks like it's marketed toward because it does bind to LDL. So like you'll get the blood sugar, LDL benefits and things like that you get from fiber, you'll get from psyllium husk. And it adds bulk to the stool. So it can help some people for constipation. What I'm not seeing though is that you get any type of short chain fatty acid benefit. So like your bacteria strains won't, from what I'm seeing, like pretty quickly, won't do anything. So like your gut can still be severely fucked up, basically. It's basically like almost like a band-aid, like kind of helping it seem like your gut is okay, even if it doesn't have to be okay, like if you don't have the right strains. So I would say it's yeah.
It also seemed like when I first got it, I was like, "Oh, this works," and then like now,
Yeah, that's what I think why it's I mean, it definitely has benefit. I mean, especially like were you having constipation issues before? Like why'd you take it originally?
like yeah, basically forever. And then like you
Oh,
add
okay.
2 babies in, and it's just like best wishes.
Yeah,
I don't know if anybody
those poor
anybody
kids, yeah,
out there has 2 kids, but
yay.
changes the way it goes forever.
Did you have like gut issues in your family? Like anybody have like
Yeah,
Hashimoto's or like
no, but like everyone has horrible acid reflux, including me,
oh, interesting.
which
Okay.
I started in college, probably like when I discovered alcohol, but never like repaired itself. And I was taking Protonics, like a pantoprazole, for literally years.
Wow.
And then I met with someone about breastfeeding, and she was like, "Are you taking pantoprazole? Like your gut's ruined." After I had my first baby, and then I was gonna do like a whole thing, like a whole reset, and then COVID
Yep.
happens. And then it's like I never saw her again. And then I stopped taking that.
Oh shit.
But then I'll take like a Pepsid. I don't actually know what the active ingredient is. Not the chewable, but the like actual like the ones you swallow. Like I'll take it at
Yeah.
night if I've eaten something that I think is gonna cause reflux.
Oh,
I know
interesting.
my gut's destroyed.
Okay. So you might have yeah, okay. So you you probably have like leaky gut or SIBO or something. So ironically, acid reflux is caused by having low stomach acid. So it's the opposite of what people think. It's like you
Oh,
don't have enough acid, and that's why it's getting all fucked up with how it like digests or something. I don't know why the fuck it comes out. To be honest, some people have like the flat, which is different, but a lot like if it's
yeah, your other what's it called?
the top flap thing. I don't know. I forgot. I can't remember.
It's the same one that it sounds like a butthole, but it's actually from your esophagus. You know what I'm
I
talking
know. I can't remember. It's such a funny name. I can't remember.
Sphincter.
Your sphincter, thank you. Your other
Yes.
sphincter.
Yes, perfect. The acid's coming out of the sphincter.
That's amazing.
That's fantastic. But
Um,
low stomach acid is actually like part of the causes for SIBO or Hashimoto's or just the lining of your gut getting torn because your body's not able to digest stuff properly. So like, I don't know what the hell came first. Like it could have been, I don't know, because all of that stuff can cause each other. So you could have like SIBO, which can help low stomach acid. You could have low stomach acid, which cause that, and blah blah blah.
Mm.
Did you ever take like digestive pills or anything um Pepsin or something like that? Not like Pepsin to destroy stomach acid. The trying to remember what supplement it was.
Like the chewables?
No, to
I mean,
actually
if
help.
it has Pepsid on the label, I own it at my house. I swear.
You mean
this is
like a probiotic?
yeah, it's Pepsin HCl.
HCI.
The actual acid, HCl.
Oh, ACL.
Yeah, I'll give you like a link to this. So like this is like the old school approach for increasing your stomach acid. But I don't for you, there's probably so much going on. That I don't even know what like I think for you, you should probably do like the 4R thing, like remove all the stuff first and then see what's going on. If you still have the acid reflux, then you actually have low stomach acid and it's not probably even caused by what you're eating. Which means it's probably like dysbiosis or SIBO or something else that we have to fix. And then you would add in the glutamine first, and then Pepsid HCl. And like this is where also you would add like digestive enzymes and stuff. This is like the stuff that your gut's lacking, basically. So you get rid of the shitty stuff that's causing the issue, add in the stuff that it's lacking, and then add in the actual fiber. And that's actually how you heal your gut. Like that's you fixed. But most people just don't get rid of the stuff first. They don't know what to take second because there's so much different stuff. Everybody gets really caught up on like dysbiosis, like measuring your gut bacteria strains and then trying to fix what's wrong. But the problem is like it's usually wrong because of what you're eating or how your body's digesting what you're eating. And you have to fix that
So the like
first.
elimination version
Yeah, it's
of
pretty
that
much like
is
an
better
elimination
than just
diet.
like testing and being like, oh,
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. The IgE tests that are specific to foods are very inaccurate. So, like, if you get tests that say, like, "Hey, you're allergic to eggs" or some shit, it's usually completely wrong.
yeah.
A
I've
lot of
always
times, also people who have autoimmune problems, their body is literally the definition is that their body is attacking itself, and it has less to do with the actual food, and it has something to do with more with the actual issue of the gut. So basically, the point of all that is to say that like you can have an allergic reaction to food you're not actually allergic to. It's your body fighting your body. And then you could just test it with a food. It's like, yeah, you're allergic to it, but you're not. You're just you're just allergic to yourself, essentially.
I have a friend with celiac who went through all of that, like allergen testing, and she was like, "I'm allergic to bananas," and she was like eating a banana. She was like, "This is like not like what I
Yeah, that's
clearly I eat a banana every day. I'm not allergic to bananas," but she had just so many issues going on that it was like,
yeah,
we're just like
100%.
flaring up that day. But she was like, "I think I'm fine."
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, that happens so many. I've had so many people do the same thing. But there's like certain foods that actually cause issues too, and they're fine. Or certain foods that they eat all the time, there's no issue, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm definitely allergic to this. And it's like, nah. It's just a way that like you can't really. There's like other total IgE tests where they're actually measuring like the protein. That's a lot more accurate, but you can't pinpoint like where it's from unless you like timed it a certain way. But it's not like you just take like a finger test, you know exactly
Yeah.
what you're allergic to. I wish. But it doesn't really work like that.
It's more fun than cutting out everything fun for 5 weeks.
Yay. But I would say though, like the goal shouldn't be to not eat those foods. I think the goal should be to get your body to be able to eat those foods. Like you probably don't feel that bad now, but I wonder what you would feel like if you did actually go through with that. I wonder what like you ever like you might have done it too, where like I don't know something like pasta, where like you're used to eating all the time, and then you take it out and then you add it back.
And
You're like,
when you
holy
add it back in,
shit.
you're like, oh Jesus, yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah, for sure. Red meat. I feel like dairy, like I was told dairy was inflammatory and causing my reflux, and I basically didn't eat dairy for like I mean a decade probably.
wow.
And then was like, I need protein. I have to meet my protein goals. And I've been fine.
Well,
But I
it
was
actually,
like so scared of dairy for so long. But I was still having
yeah,
reflux. So it was like, who knows? Like,
yeah, and it probably meat too, because like protein needs a lot of acid to digest. So your body's probably trying to pump out acid. It doesn't have any. So you're probably getting like the stomach, the reaction. That's so interesting though. I wonder what your whole family had that the whole time though, right? Like
yeah,
acid
like
reflux.
yeah, GERD. Like everyone I know is on some sort of like PPI. And then when I was pregnant, like my number, like people were like, "How's your pregnancy?" I was like, "I had acid reflux." That's like what I remember. Like it was so he can attest to it. It was horrible
Interesting.
both times. Yeah. Like
Huh.
I remember being worried about having the baby, like being in delivery, and I was like, I hope my reflux isn't bad. Like I wasn't like, oh, pushing a baby out. I was like, I hope I don't puke in my mouth.
We're worried about the acid.
Oh my God, totally. I was so fixated on it. I was like, that's
Baby
so
reflux.
miserable.
It's
Jeez.
interesting though
That's
that
brutal.
during COVID,
Oh, yes.
we went vegan for like
I was just
I
telling
remember you
about
guys saying that. Yeah.
Yeah,
it
we
was
went
like
like
18
really.
months or something, right?
Yeah,
And
like
your
for
reflux went away.
yeah, I didn't have it at all, but I
entirely.
was completely vegan. And that lasted, COVID, and then COVID ended, and here we are
Well, with
eating
everything you're saying about like, I
everything.
mean, we were literally eating fruits and
It was like its
vegetables
own elimination
all
diet by
day long.
accident.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
That's
That's
right. And I
crazy.
went, that's when I met, because I met with the lady who I never saw again. And then
Oh,
it
before
was COVID,
yeah.
and I was like, well, I went vegan, and I was like, honestly, who needs her? I feel great. But
Oh, that's so
then
interesting.
that
Yeah.
didn't, now we're not. Now we're not
And
vegan.
then, oh, that's interesting.
Now we're full-blown carnivores.
So when you started eating meat, that's when you got the acid reflux back?
But I don't know if it was meat or dairy, but
But it didn't come back as bad.
yeah, it's not probably as bad as it was.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's definitely low stomach acid. Yeah, because those foods require a lot of acid to digest. So
What are your
you were probably avoiding having to use a lot of stomach acid. I know that like having low stomach acid also usually causes things like SIBO. Um, because like stomach acid kills bacteria, and then so if you have low stomach acid, the bacteria will like sneak into the small intestines, which is SIBO. It's like the bacteria strains are in the wrong place. That's part of the reason why they can get there, because there's no acid that's like killing them. So it could have been like you just had low stomach acid. It could have just been low stomach acid like your whole life that just turned into a shit show because of everything that happened afterwards. It's actually super common. Like there's a lot of why you have low stomach acid or had it. I don't know. That like there's like zinc deficiency can cause it. There's like a whole bunch of weird shit that can cause it. But like it could have just been that. Like it could have been low stomach acid this whole time that just caused hell. Just kind of crazy.
yeah. What a waste.
Yeah, what the fuck? What a waste. Oh shit. I'll find the like Pepsid HCl stuff that you could
Yeah,
have.
please do. Thanks.
Um
I had read when you were going through all this, because I saw something about like the low acid maybe causing reflux.
yep.
And what are your thoughts on apple cider vinegar? Ugh.
Yeah,
Like
it's actually great.
that.
I actually do. Yeah, I've actually seen yeah, that does work. I don't know the extent that it works, but it definitely does work. I remember that was actually one of the things I learned a while ago for low stomach acid. I can't remember what you were supposed to do with it though. I don't know if you were supposed to have it with each meal or if it was
Like
like
a thing. I
The thing
remember.
that I
I
saw
think it was like,
every
yeah.
One day.
every morning you just literally take a
every
shot.
morning. Is that it? Yeah, that sound. I know it definitely works. I just don't know like the dose that you would need of it, but yeah, it definitely does help. I remember apple cider vinegar and Pepsi HCl together were usually the best. And Pepsi HCl is hydrochloric acid. That's not the Pepsin that you take to get rid of the acid. It's different, even though it sounds the same. Those are PPIs or acid blockers. But the other thing too is though, if you've been using those for a while, then you're also killing your body's ability to actually produce acid, and you're going to make it worse.
Yeah.
So I don't know where your body's at right now, but
That was
but
my next question. Like the goal is to
Yeah.
get yourself to a place where you don't have to take these things, right?
yes,
That just
absolutely.
from your diet, you're good.
Yes, for
Yeah.
sure. Which the food, I think the real goal is to be able to eat it basically with all of this. I feel if we just like kind of trimmed it down, it's essentially getting your body able to eat the amount of fiber it should be able to eat. I think if you can get to that point, then you're probably fine. Because the fiber is going to give you everything that you need. It's just that like you can't handle it right away because of all these different things going on. And it's going to make things worse at first. So we have to like get rid of stuff and then patch stuff up and then slowly add it back in. And then if you're able to, I have like one dude who, was I think I was telling some of you guys the story, but he eats super healthy and a lot of fiber, and he wasn't used to. He got super lean. He was like 7% body fat, so I had him start to reverse diet, increase the calories back up. And he kept eating like the same way, like he never added rice or starch or like potatoes or anything. He's kept eating the same shit. So he was eating like carrots and string beans and asparagus, whatever, and he was up to like 3,500 calories a day, but he was still eating that stuff. Like he wasn't eating anything else. So his fiber intake was like 140 grams per day. It was absolutely insane. And he started getting, he's like, yo, I feel like my stomach's like a little bloated. I'm like,
I remember being
"Oh,
on
you
the
fucking
in the
think
car
so?"
with you when you're on this phone call.
Yeah, you overheard it, right? I was like, you fucking think? I'm like,
Like this
Jesus
poor
Christ,
guy.
fucking guts going through the Olympics over here. Fucking crazy. But anyway, if you can get to the point, like he's fine. Like his gut is like indestructible. It's crazy. So if he goes, backs it down to like a normal 100, then he's completely fine.
Like,
But like his immune system's insane. Like it's just, insane. He'll never have like gut issues. But a lot of us are completely fucked up, which most of it stems from just birth and the mother's.
the breastfeeding lady told me it was my mom's overuse of antibiotics on me as a child.
Wait, she said what?
She was like, did you take a lot of amoxicillin?
Oh,
Like,
nice. That
yeah,
killed
it
all
was the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
all they
Yeah.
gave us.
Everybody was
So
chugging that shit.
Yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
that bubble gum, yeah, I took
Like
it.
at least once a month.
Yeah. And she was like, that's it. So she blames my mom.
Nice. Obviously, yeah. I blame my mom too for.
She's like, you're fucked for life. But here we are. I don't know.
You're screwed.
We're okay.
It's actually random other note, but the two best foods for like the best bacteria is sauerkraut
Hmm.
and kefir. Those two foods are amazing. Like between those two, you'll have everything. Bacteria wise, like fiber, you won't really be getting enough, but like the actual bacteria will get into your gut. But you still need the other bacteria to be broken down and fermented and shit. But those two are like shortcuts. But you can't
Should we be
you can't
taking
cook
a
the sauerkraut.
prebiotic or a probiotic?
What was that?
Should we be taking prebiotic or probiotic?
You
Like
could,
what?
but that's essentially fiber. Like if
Okay.
you're eating the fiber, you don't need to.
You
But
don't-
you
Okay.
may, so like the same kind of thing. If your body can't get to the amount of fiber that we want to eat yet, then you could supplement to help populate like certain strains that you don't have to make it easier to get the fiber that we need to get. But if you can just increase your fiber and your body's fine with it, then that's golden. Like that's what you want to do. Which most people can. It's just hard because I think a lot of times people have FODMAP issues too, and so they start adding in fiber from FODMAP foods, and then their bodies get fucked up, and then they pull off from fiber, and it's like, no, it wasn't the fiber, it was the FODMAP. So
Yeah.
it's just, the gut is a mess, man. There's too much going on in there.
Yeah.
What about colostrum?
What is it?
Colostrum.
I have no idea what that is.
Amra. It was having
Camera?
Amra.
Amra.
What is
Oh, Amra? I don't know. Let me look it up.
It was
Let's see.
having a big Instagram moment.
It was that usually doesn't lead anywhere good. Let me see. How do you spell it?
ARMRA.
ARM.
I've heard of that.
Oh, colostrum. Oh, colostrum. This is like bovine shit. This was supposed to help the gut, they said.
I think it's more
Well,
immunity support, right?
but-
Well, but I get
that-
that's gut
okay.
support. Yeah.
Boom. Yeah, this was having a huge moment back in the day for a whole bunch of shit. Oh, let
Yeah.
me see.
While you look it up, I will say the magnesium citrate,
Yeah,
that it has done wonders for me.
it helped a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it helped a lot. And I just take I take half a dose.
That usually fixes most people. That's
No, it's
that's
fine.
probably because the motility was an issue, so the insoluble fiber was low.
Mhm.
And that's probably helping. Or it does just shuttle water into the intestines too, so it could just be that.
I have a really quick question about that.
Yeah.
I'm horrible at taking any sort of supplement. I-
So am I.
I like buy the vitamins and
Same.
then I
I
have
buy all the gummies.
the subscriptions coming and I've got like 6 bottles that have never
That's
been opened.
That's me too.
So magnesium, can we get that through diet? Or is that something we need to take?
Yes. I don't know the amount though.
Mm.
Like, how do you get? Hold on, let me see.
And there's so many different types, like citrates for your belly.
Yeah, there's
Oh.
different.
Or for
Oh,
sleep.
I'm glad you said
Oh, I
that.
didn't know that.
So I take a citrate for my stomach, and then I take is it a glycinate malate mix for sleep.
I've also seen
Can you put it in
people.
the chat?
There's also a saying. There was a thing on Instagram going around people rubbing magnesium on their feet to sleep.
Yeah, that I've seen too. That
Yeah.
I can't do
I
that.
can't.
Everybody's getting that hand of the shit.
I can barely take my makeup off.
Why can't we just keep it a pill? We gotta rub it on our feet and shit now. God damn
I take
it.
Scoops, too.
It's
I
too
take
complicated.
Wait, I'm gonna take a pic. Oh, Thorn, I love that one. I'm
Yeah.
taking a picture of you. Oh my gosh, thank you.
If it's in a pill form, I will not. I'll do it for like 2 days, and then I'm
We
These
have,
pills
like-
are very large and they sort of get stuck if you don't have enough water. And every night I'm like, ugh.
Oh, those like the big pills. Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
the Thorn prenatals I took, and it was the same. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Those are
I had to-
massive. Like
oh.
I get a
cheese
little scared and
tablets.
then I just
Oh.
drink it down.
So there's like, so Curtis, there's like, you want to take like 500 milligrams basically before bed of magnesium. And I'm seeing like 150 milligrams of magnesium is in 30 grams of pumpkin seeds. I don't know what the fuck that means though. I don't know what 30 grams of pumpkin seeds looks like.
Well, even
Or
like
chia seeds or
spinach
almonds.
has like
A big serving of
A
pumpkin.
half a cup of spinach has 78.
a
So
cup
that's-
has 157.
Oh,
So if you have a lot of that, but
Spinach
wow,
and
like,
Swiss chard have
Mhm.
like
And you want
150.
it before bed, or can you have it throughout the day?
you can definitely have it throughout the day. When you have it before bed, though, it helps a lot with like the like constipation effect of it because it shuttles into your intestines while you're sleeping. I'm not sure why it does that, to be honest, when you're sleeping versus like during the day. But I'm sure if you just get it in, it'll probably help. But yeah, I have no idea what the fuck 30 grams of seeds looks like. Like no,
This says one ounce of pumpkin seeds is 150. So
Oh.
like 2 ounces would be 300.
just like
eat a
a,
whole pumpkin.
I just had pumpkin seeds
But
today. I
what
took
are
a full
what are the
serving.
calories? And
It's a lot.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
18
Yeah.
It's like almond butter.
Yeah.
I have the back.
Exactly. Spinach is your bed.
Yeah. Spinach it is.
Spinach it is. And then let me see. I had
Yeah, I know. A cup of quinoa is 118. A cup of black beans is 120. It's things that are like super high in calories that have the most amount of magnesium.
180 calories. I said 190.
Nailed it.
So 30 grams, 180. Magnesium is 40%. It says 160 milligrams.
All right, so you have to have 3 servings, right?
Yeah, so here's 2 meals.
So you're allowed to eat today.
That's all you get to eat tomorrow. Breakfast and lunch.
So actually, I'm looking at the colostrum stuff. So where I'm seeing like the research actually show something is with intestinal permeability is like Hashimoto's, like the lining of your gut, like the holes in your gut. But it's the only research where it was useful was when athletes who were using NSAIDs, which is interesting. So it kind of patches. I feel like it's like a band-aid for athletes who use painkillers, basically. But then also has some benefit for like SIBO and immune defense. It seems like it works, but not like the same, if not better than fiber and glutamine. So like if you're eating fiber and taking glutamine, because that's going to do the repair work. Glutamine is really good at that. So it looks like this is like a lesser form of that, but like a cooler form. So we're probably got like more. So this is a good quote. Colostrum is like scaffolding for your gut. It can help repair and support, but it doesn't do the hard work for you. Nice little quote. I like that.
Good to know.
Which fiber would do that. But yeah, so it doesn't look like it's really too much more useful than fiber and glutamine, but it does seem to have a little
Jeremy's
bit.
going to turn into a supplement at this point.
It's
The amount of supplements that this man is currently taking. Every time I look in the cabinet, there is another bottle. I got him a pill organizer.
Yeah, here we go.
Unlike you, I actually take my
He does actually take it. I take my supplements like every couple of days when I remember.
That's amazing. This is why I actually create my own supplement powder that has all the supplements that I want in it. So I don't have to take all this random shit because it's a pain in the ass.
Well, you know, I did the Function Health, so then it recommended like all these other like berberine. My bad cholesterol.
Yeah.
It's a lot of cholesterol based stuff.
You guys send me what they sent you. Did
Yeah.
you meet with somebody? Yeah, right.
You don't, they just send you like clinicians' notes and then their suggestions on what to do. Jeremy did one with hymns or
No.
he did a different,
No, the Rich Froning one, right?
Yeah. Blokes.
but he spoke to someone, which is so much like Function Health is more expensive and I didn't get to speak to anybody. His was cheaper and he got to talk to like 2 people.
Yeah, the only reason why Function is really good is they give you a lot. They test a lot of stuff.
Did you say I got more stuff?
But
mine tested 100.
More marker, yeah.
Yeah, it was more markers for sure.
Yeah,
but
you have a
talk
lot.
to somebody about it. And
yeah, no, that's why it's like super useful if you know like what the things are. But if you don't know what they are, then it means like nothing.
I'm overwhelmed by the information.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I'm developing like my own blood work tests that I'm doing for like my genomic clients, and I have even more markers than Function does, and it's actually not nearly as expensive as you think it is. They actually charge a lot, like overprice it a lot.
Yeah.
It's expensive, but it's not like for them with the amount of people that they're getting, like the discount that they can get is huge. It's just a New York thing that sucks because.
But Blokes, so Function Health uses Quest, then you have to pay. Blokes uses a different lab. So Jeremy didn't have to pay for the lab.
It was more expensive because it was New York, but it wasn't.
It wasn't.
But it wasn't much, right? I remember you saying that. Yeah.
Some like strange place, but it turned around the results in like 12 hours.
Yeah, his was 12 hours. Mine was like 6 weeks.
That's fast.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
damn. Well, some of the things that they were testing for you actually need a different lab. So I feel like some of those things can come back quick, but some of them need like a couple of days or shipped off to like a different
That's
lab.
right, because I also had to go twice. He only went once. So I think like some of them went this way and so yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mhm.
Whew. Cool. Anybody know how much fiber they eat, by the way? Does anybody, anybody count yet? No? I'm so curious.
Mine's probably close to 0.
Yeah. 2.
Yeah, even mine is low normally.
Yeah, I'm gonna check mine right now.
Oh, you
I mean,
haven't? Oh,
I
you
haven't even like
tried it?
eaten anything today, but
Yeah, you got like 300 calories, 2 grams of fiber today. Sick. Awesome.
I'm not even. Oh wait, no, that's only. Oh no, that's my day. I'm not even gonna tell you.
Less than 10.
Oh, mine.
It's a 1.5.
Solid. There you go. Good shit.
Probably from the little piece of avocado that I eat.
Yeah, nice. Good stuff.
I
That's
got
awful.
45 grams of
Whoa.
fiber here.
Good
Wow.
shit.
I had
45, pretty good.
43 yesterday,
We also had a huge salad for dinner.
but mine was lower today. I had
Oh, really?
43 yesterday and 20 something today.
Damn. That's you guys are okay. You guys are cooking then. That's
Well, every morning I always do Greek yogurt. I mix in the collagen peptides, the chocolate, because it makes it delicious. But then I do
Yeah.
2 cups of frozen berries on top.
Mm.
perfect.
So I would think the berries probably have.
Berries should have a lot, yeah.
I've had that
Is that
literally
40?
every
Wait, you guys
morning.
40 with like some sort of supplement and shit, or is that actually food?
No, it's all food.
Jesus, that's sick. That's great.
Wow.
Yeah, but like if I look at mine, mine's high too, but I had like whole wheat pasta that day.
Yeah, that's the wheat brand stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just fake.
So like
Yeah,
there's and we eat a lot of mission wraps and thought
yeah,
that
it's
Eat a
fake.
lot
Yeah,
of
yeah.
mission
Oh
wraps.
wait,
oh,
I've
we were
got
eating a lot of
Yeah.
fiber.
Ah, here we go.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
mystery. Yeah,
Oh
it's
wait, I have to take out 21 grams because of
is that from the wrap? The wrap has like
from the
21,
mission
right?
tortillas. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm really at. I can't do the math. What is that?
What was it?
That's
41.
still not
46.
terrible. 20 something.
So 20,
That's why mine was
24.
high yesterday.
no, 25.
It's
25?
crazy how much
Yeah.
the wraps have that like
Oh
don't
wait,
count.
so what they added into the wraps? Those specifically? That's what you meant when you were saying wraps?
Yeah. So
It's the same thing with like protein bars and
Yeah, it's all synthetic.
like
It's
Like
all
shakes
that's
and
part of
stuff
the
like that.
mission, like they're telling you they're high fiber. We would just buy them because they're low calorie.
Yeah, so
That's
it's
the only reason I eat it too, but yeah.
yeah, I don't know what their mission is. I don't know if it's the
Their mission is
everybody needs
alive.
fiber, but
What
yeah,
is
that's
those?
all. It's the same thing as there's bars that do that. There's those oatmeal bite cookies, Linz, that
Yeah.
I was eating
Mm.
for a while. Those
I
things
didn't
have
know when you were like saying
fiber
wraps, I was like,
ones.
what are these wraps we're talking about?
Mission
But that
berry.
now I
Yeah,
know
no.
the wraps I have right there.
that you're eating. Yeah, those would be the ones. Yeah. Oh shit.
You
Yeah,
know.
they
No.
yeah, that's what fiber is that? That's the
Mission also is sneaky. I don't know if you've been reading their nutrition labels, but you know, they just switched it up on us.
Mm.
what they what?
Calories
Like
went up.
last month,
Oh,
25 calories per tortilla, and now it's 110 for 3. And the math isn't mathing. I'm like, so was it that the whole time and somebody realized it?
oh, that's funny.
But on all the flavored ones, it still says 25. And I'm like, those are bound to change too.
Oh,
When
100%.
you
Oh,
put
that's
it into track,
interesting.
like
Yeah.
any of the track apps, they're not like onto it yet. So when you scan the barcode,
It's still the
says
old.
25.
Mm.
One
Shit.
Wow.
They're on my
God damn it.
list. Not intended.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's it's the wheat dextrin. That's definitely probably what's in it. Or inulin, that's a huge one too. Those are the two guys that they usually put in stuff. But it's definitely the fake fiber.
Yeah. All right. More fruits, more vegetables.
Yeah, no
Like
getting
any
around it.
vegetables and some more fruits.
Yeah, literally any vegetable. I have the list. I have like
Yeah, that'd
100
be
foods
helpful.
that are listed here. I'll put it in the group right
Okay.
after this. But cool. You guys, anybody else have any?
No, that was really good.
questions?
That was good. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, good.
One more.
Yeah,
quick.
Mm.
Back
pretty
to the-
surprising. This
Back
stuff.
to the mission wraps for 1 second. Is
I
there
want to know
any,
what the mission is.
is there any, so is there, is
I
there
think
any,
I have
is
them
there any reason to
here.
not have that fiber? Is it doing something bad?
I think
No,
it
so
just
that's
doesn't do
It's just not
anything.
helping in any way.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one thing I was looking at before this call too. Is it actually detrimental or is it like just a nothing? And it's just a nothing.
Okay.
It doesn't do anything. So it's not like I would still highly recommend those wraps because they're super low in calories.
We eat them literally every day.
Yeah,
so.
it's awesome.
Yeah, I eat them too.
Um,
So
I've been doing
But
smash
it won't,
burgers
like-
with them. Oh man, they're
those make quesadillas with those things, right? You can make pizzas with them or something, right? Are those
Yeah.
the ones
Made
you have,
those
Liz, where you make
chicken
pizza?
farm tacos with them.
What?
Ground chicken.
Farm taco?
It's essentially just a quesadilla. They're just calling it a chicken parm taco.
No,
But
I like that though. Like the
Ooh.
chicken, the
Anything that's
cheese.
essentially a quesadilla, I meant.
yeah, we
Yeah,
eat a lot of
Same.
stuff in those quesadillas.
I'm in. Everything sounds amazing. Chicken parm. That sounds amazing.
You
So
just
good.
smash like ground chicken with Italian seasoning onto it.
ooh.
Put it on the flat top, turn it
Ooh.
over, sauce, mozzarella cheese, and
Like
fold
the-
it until it gets crispy.
Yeah, it's like that like
They're like
smash
low
burger type
calories.
thing.
That's what I've been doing.
Sounds
Smash burgers.
really good.
With the
Yeah, so
that
good.
ground beef, you
That's what
smash-
I
remember
made
you
that one
saying
night,
smash
Dev. I made the
burger,
smash
actually.
burgers
Yeah,
with them.
I've been making like a high protein Thousand Island dressing to put on top.
Mm.
Ooh.
Wow, look at it. Look at you guys.
Awesome.
Holy shit. How far we've all come.
I love it.
Oh man, it's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. That's why you guys look the way you do. Exactly. Right. That's why you guys look the way you do.
I got a lot of compliments on the shirt today, by the way. Just random.
Yeah.
We're just
Oh,
like,
that's
that's
so
a cool
funny.
shirt.
I
And
love
I'm
it. Look good on you, man. You look ripped. Yeah, that's it. Boom. The models, the performance field models. Get it. Love it. Good shit.
Walking billboards over there.
What?
So they're walking billboards over there.
I know. You guys are all fucking, yeah, wow. Nuts. It's crazy seeing all you guys again, too, because we haven't seen you guys, obviously, I mean, on the calls, but you don't really see.
Yeah, like in person.
That's
Weird,
nuts.
right?
It was probably so weird to like see other people from other gyms that like you see on the calls. It's like, oh, that's what you look like in person.
But yeah, you guys really don't see other people from, yeah, I keep forgetting. You guys, yeah.
Yeah,
Shit.
because 8 different gyms that are together.
Yeah, we always see everybody at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Even Pablo, he's, Jesus.
Yeah.
Weird. Crazy. All right, I guess that's it. I'm gonna go work out now.
Yeah, same.
We're going to bed.
Recording the whole time? I thought I stopped it.